Action. Expecting anyone?
I need to have an intimate understanding of your marriage, the good and the bad. I promise it's confidential, it's between you and me.
Do you feel happy here?
Of course I'm happy here. Aren't you?
The thing I'm fascinated about is what elements of Ian Reid's novel did you first think, okay, like I can immediately see how this will translate to the big screen?
Well, I mean, it was a very visual novel. So almost from page one, I was playing a movie in my mind, and that was really enjoyable. You know, it kind of had that Hitchcockian film noir quality, the remoteness, the tension and the mystery, like all of that I was really loving. But I guess that's not enough to make a movie. But I guess what I wasn't expecting was where the story went. Like I had no idea where it went. And I was really, I guess, fascinated by this central relationship, this marriage. And in a way that became the mystery of the story, was what the hell is going on in this relationship? What's going on with these two? And in particular, what's going on with the wife, Hen. I found that incredibly satisfying as the source of a mystery in a story, because a lot of movies these days are fairly stock standard storylines where this was, you know, a mystery in a different kind of mystery. And then, you know, when everything's revealed, which is always hard to talk about on these interviews, when everything's revealed, I found it a very profound and affecting story about our own human journeys, about human relationships, which is the most important thing in existence, and how, which is something I really believe, it's just how currently we seem to be asleep at the wheel and taking things that are precious for granted. And at what point do we wake up and take responsibility for ourselves and for our relationships and for the planet?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're no stranger to working with incredible actors. You look at the films that you've made, the actors that you've worked with, it's just astonishing. It's just fantastic. And this film is no different, of course. I want to start with Paul Mescal, who's having a moment right now. Tell me about the first conversations you had with him about this role.
Yes, well, I flew to Sydney because he had just finished shooting Carmen, and we met. I'd never spoken to him before, but we met at this cafe in Sydney. And I mean, I was immediately struck with someone that had a lot of warmth and very easygoing kind of person. And he just had read the script and was just dying to talk about the story and the character. So I guess a really hungry, passionate, very smart, instinctual person, and it just felt very natural. And he just understood what we were trying to do. He understood why I was trying to make this movie. He really, and he wanted to get on that as well. He had the same enthusiasm and passion. So there's nothing more encouraging when you feel that coming from your actors. And then this conversation went on for hours, and then almost in a way we were starting to workshop some of the scenes and the stuff we could explore, and this relationship was already starting.
Yeah, amazing. And I think you can see that you guys are in sync as director and actor. Some of the scenes just incredible. His performance is amazing. And in those moments, whether it's, you know, like where things are starting to unravel for him, I guess, a little bit without giving too much away, like as a director, what are you saying to him in between takes? Because I can imagine they're incredibly draining, powerful performances, and then to go, okay, well, you know, let's do it again, but this time, you know, like, what can we do differently?
Look, I guess well before we get to the scenes on the day, you know, we've done a lot of discussion around what we wanted to explore, what's exciting, what scares us, what excites us about the themes and the choices that he's going to make in the scene. And there's some things obviously that he won't, that's his own business. But we definitely understand the terrain. And I guess, you know, in the scheduling, I just make sure that we support the tough scenes for him as an actor, knowing that he is very committed to it emotionally. Like, it takes a long time for him to come out of those moments. Like you say, after a take, in some of these takes, it would take him at least 10 minutes I wouldn't be able to talk to him for at least 10 minutes after some of these takes because he's gone to such a painful place. And that's his own private world. But I know that he's accessed some stuff that I don't understand completely because it's his own. But as you say, very taxing. So I guess plan very well so he doesn't have to do too many of them.
Yeah.
But, you know, give him the support to go there and let him know that I'm going to give you the time to recover. I'm going to give you the time to get into these moments. And I guess that's my job, really.
Do you want to live mundane lives, or do you want to be part of something special and unique?
You've been selected to live up there.
Okay, well, you're wasting your time because we haven't even been on an airplane and she hated it.
I should clarify. I'm talking about you here, Junior. Only you.
And you've got Saoirse Ronan as well, who is one of my absolute favorite actors going around at the moment. Her performance, on the other hand, a lot of it is almost sort of her character is sort of internalized so much, and she's getting across a lot that is not necessarily obvious to the audience, but you know, you still have to be able to pick up on things for the whole story to make sense. So tell me about working with her and what she brought to this film.
Well, what I love about Saoirse Ronan is that it doesn't matter what character she plays in any movie, her beautiful spirit shines through everything she does. And I think that's kind of the magic that she has. And what I think is why audiences love her is because it reminds them of that part of themselves. And it's very beautiful. So I guess that was a really great asset to this story because that's what's precious in it. In terms of her acting and the character she was playing, I mean, incredibly complex stuff, which was a great challenge. And I guess it's the navigation between lying, truth, reconnecting with old emotions, even ethics is she explores. She questions her own ethics at times. I mean, she does actually she goes on a journey of huge emotions in the story, but she has to contain it in a way under the design of the story we're telling. So it is a bit of a pressure cooker in that sense.
And a film like this that is, you know, it's Hitchcockian at times, like I felt Kafka-esque in sort of Junior's journey, where his grip on reality is kind of starting to slip. Like that really gave me Kafka vibes. But like which is fine as a book, right? Like as a book, okay, you've got all of this space and pages to kind of unpack that. For a film, you have to do so much with comparatively so little in terms of exposition and all this kind of thing. When you're dealing with a story that is so conceptual, what do you think are the biggest challenges from a filmmaker's perspective in bringing the audience along for the ride?
Oh, look, I think people's attention spans now is about 1 second. So I think as a human species, we have lost our ability to focus on anything, which is the issue at hand. It's the issue at hand because we can't really understand who we are unless we focus and be in a moment of silence. And so I guess the Herculean effort of this movie is to remind audiences to focus, and not everyone's going to like that. So look, I know I'm not going to make a lot of friends, but there's also going to be, but that I can't help those people. I can't help them. The movie is about those people, and in a way, it's honoring the other part of society that they're trying to live their lives in this way. They're trying to honor that part of it. So yeah, to answer your question, I was very alert to it, and also just alert to what is the tolerance of an audience for a story where they don't understand where they completely are, and how long can we pull that? And I guess we found a ratio that was hopefully uncomfortable to the point where they keep going, but not uncomfortable to the point where they walk out. And I guess it's meant to be uncomfortable. It's meant to give you that experience, I guess.
I don't want a robot living with my wife.
Do you really want to leave her here all alone, day after day?
He doesn't really see me anymore. Maybe I shouldn't be telling you this.
Like, I would love to know, what conversations are you hopeful that this film will inspire?
Look, I guess what I'm finding with audiences is that it is raising a lot of questions. And I think I had an email the other day from someone saying that, I really reflected on my own relationship and just how important it is to water that relationship, to kind of look after it. Otherwise you can lose it. And I guess that's the simplicity of it. It's just like, please just be aware that time is not infinite. Time is precious, and you have choices, and don't take what is precious for granted. Don't take that for granted, because I think right now we are, as a society. And I guess I'm kind of saying, guys, bit of reality check here. I'm sorry, it's a bit truthful. The mirror's up, but you are beautiful and you are precious and you are spectacular. Don't give it away to someone that doesn't see it, and live your life to the fullest. And I guess ultimately the film's very hopeful, but it's almost like a call for help. It's almost like a call for help. And the young audiences really relate to this film because it's their voice. I mean, they're just like Hen, screaming at us for ignoring the warning signs. We have been taking everything for granted. Our generation has completely. We've done nothing about anything. And they're inheriting the mess that we're left behind. And I guess young audiences really see this as a fairly alarming truth to what they're adopting. So, look, I hope it raises questions, and I hope it raises some sort of gentle action amongst people in how they behave and see the world, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope you're right. And it's, how they treat themselves, how they treat, their nearest and dearest, how they treat complete strangers. I think there's a statement about all of those things. Look, it's another dystopian view of the future. So thanks for that, Garth. I really need some more of those.
I encourage you to use this opportunity to act on your instincts.
I guess, I don't know if you've noticed this, but a lot of people don't actually reflect on how they're living until it's too late.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? Either someone close to you gets diagnosed, or you have an injury and suddenly you go, and you go, actually, all the things you thought were important in your life just aren't anymore. They're just not even on the list. And I guess, do we have to wait for that moment to have that understanding? Because we have that understanding right now. We live our lives in a richer way. So I guess the dystopia in this movie is to create that effect. It's like going, time's running out. And because the issues in this movie, the dystopia in this movie, are actually tantalizingly close to us, hopefully that creates a real pressure on audiences, to kind of reflect on their own mortality, I guess. So I guess,
and I think
it's fascinating.
I think it does that. And it taps into the the discourse around AI as well. I think in a really interesting way. It's like how easily are we replaced? And then what does that even look like? And Junior at the end, like maybe he's even happier with his kind of new reality, with this kind of, sort of generic, almost obedient partner who, doesn't carry this baggage of all of the sort of mistreatment from him. And then that's an interesting statement in itself. Yeah, no,
I think that's really fascinating. And but also the other thing too is our responsibilities to anything that's sentient. So yes, you're right. People could benefit from copies of their husbands and wives for whatever reason, momentarily, I guess. But what about those beings? Creating? And right now we're on the cusp of bringing sentient beings into existence. I mean that's an arguable point, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. Where do the ethics lie there?
Yeah. Well, it maybe not in the. We might not bring any sentient beings into the entertainment industry if the SAG-AFTRA strikes negotiations are successful. But in every other facet of life, I think it's quite possible.
Yeah. Well, let's hope. Let's hope there's something sensible happening somewhere.
Yeah.